Hey, what is up all of you Pegasus or Toon fans? We finally got some new support coming out for the Toons. I'm here to bring it to you guys just fresh off the boat like myself. But anyways, this is a very, very unique playstyle. I almost want to say your deck is your life points, because that's kind of how the deck plays. Or I guess if Toon World or Toon Kingdom is destroyed, that's basically your lose condition. But anyways, this deck, it's pretty interesting because the way it works is, if you guys haven't seen how the new support works, is basically you can keep on attacking your opponent directly and they can't kill your monsters, so you sit there and you're like, yo, I'm just going to go ahead and keep on attacking you directly. Now, you have to protect the Toon World, or the Toon Kingdom, which counts as Toon World anyways, but that is the main goal of the deck, and I got a lot of awesome replays to share with you guys. The new Toon Dark Magician is confirmed, so I think a lot of players are excited to try out the deck. Do I think it's meta? No. The problem is it relies too hard on Toon Kingdom. Yes, there is the magic reflectors, like counters that you can add, but like the thing is, he's able to protect all of his monsters like consistently, and like you can see, he only has 15 cards left in the deck. Every time his Toon cards are destroyed, he just banishes a card, and he can keep on attacking his opponent directly, so his opponent, it just looks like a dingus running into like monsters, doing a little bit of damage. But at the end of the day, you're going to be dealing much more damage to your opponent because all of your attacks are direct. As long as you have monsters that have a decent amount of attacks. Heck, some of them actually have decent effects. Yeah, Toon Dark Magician gets another card out, and then the Red Eyes Toon gets another card out. This is looking to be like maybe another like rank 7 deck, rank 7 spam, big eyes for days. But nonetheless, I mean, they got Ancient Gear Golem, but I got a few more replays to share with you guys, so we'll talk a little bit about them while we kind of go through some of the replays. Now, one problem that I have with Magical Reflector, and there's another like Field Barrier cards. You select one spell card on the field that remains face up, place a counter on it. If it would be destroyed, you get to remove the counter instead. One problem is Castell or other things that just bounce back cards. That's the main problem that this deck has. And Castell is relevant in like 90% of decks. Like, you can make that card. It's just a generic rank 4. You can see he goes for it, bam, puts it back. Now, it does say if Toon, where it says, when Toon World on the field is destroyed, you have to destroy the card. It's not actually being destroyed, but it still like can hinder a lot of your progress because a lot of the cards require you to have, you know, certain things to be able to summon to do things. So yeah, that is something you'll have to take into consideration. As long as you control Toon World, it allows you to attack directly. Again, a lot of the cards rely on the Toon World, so you'll see that this card is where I feel like it makes Toons potentially really good against Pendulums. The guy goes ahead and summons something. It's just like, no, you know what? It's over. Toon Briefcase is such a strong card against Pendulums. It's a trap card that says, when your opponent summons a monster or monsters that in parentheses an S, while you control a Toon monster, shuffle that monster or monsters into the entire deck. So if they go Pendulum for 5 cards, you just put all of it right back into the deck, which is much better than putting it to the graveyard. Heck, even banishing it now sometimes isn't just good enough. We'll go with round 2 first. The other one is pretty good too. They're all pretty decent replays. It's not any replays against like Draco Performer Pals, but I think that deck is just on another level. Like, we can't really compare them right now, but again, you know, crazy support comes out for, you know, crazy decks. So I'm hoping that we'll have to wait and see though. But I'm hoping that Toons will be like a viable archetype. I think that they're really trying to support a lot of what the fans like right now. Like, there's Dragon support, which isn't, I mean, there is technically quote-unquote support for the Blue Eyes in that sense, but for the most part, it's Chaos Dragon support as far as we know in the new Felgrand Structure deck. And then in addition to that, we have the new Dark Magician stuff coming out, and then also, of course, the new Toon stuff coming out. So I think this is really delivering a lot on the fan favorite stuff. But the Wing Beat of the Dragon, you get to destroy all spell and trap cards on the field, but Dark Bribe, too good, man. I know some of you guys think Dark Bribe is a really bad card, but you have to understand, in Toons, like, you have to protect Toon Kingdom. It's so minus when you go ahead and have this card die and you have a bunch of monsters, because you pretty much lose everything. It pretty much makes it so you secure yourself like victory. He went ahead and made a play, but he realized, oh dang, I done goofed because, you know, defense are too good. But he just can't destroy his monsters. An opponent is, of course, going to then attack the next turn. Now, they also have a really good card. Now, this card, guys, Comic Hand is not a Toon card. It used to be considered a Toon card due to translation issues, but that said, you cannot search this card off of Toon Table anymore. It used to. Again, this was just because of translation issues. So Magicain, I know a lot of you guys have seen Snatch Steal, right? No, this is Snatch Steal, but it's only for Toons. And like Snatch Steal can win games. I mean, the Moonlights, they rely on usually getting out like one monster. And if you steal that one monster, sometimes they can just lose. I mean, look, you can't really do anything. What is he going to call up Haunted? Exactly nothing, because there's nothing there. He used the cards to make the light cat dancer, and then he just games himself. This is an excellent example of just showing you guys like how Snatch Steal can just beat someone, literally off of just using one Snatch Steal. Because certain decks, I know that a lot of the more stronger boss monsters now, they're like, can't be targeted, can't be affected by spells, can't be affected by traps, unaffected by monster effects. They have all of these like conditions, right, where they just can't be affected by the game, or hexproof, as some people like to call it. But with Toons, like if you're able to target that one type of monster that maybe it's immune to traps, maybe it's immune to monster effects, or just like a really strong like beater, like some decks they only have like one monster on the field at a time. So if you can just take that monster, you can just win the game. And you know that's Snatch Steal is banned for reasons, but Snatch Steal, like obviously every deck can make use of it, whereas this only Toons can. But you can play 3 copies of it. Toon Briefcase, again, just showing you how good that card is. He mirror forces. He's gonna go ahead, bust out the effect. A Light Pulse are going to get the card Keeper of the Shrine. Then he goes ahead and briefcases that back, that breakfast, man. Too good, and then he goes ahead and Solemn Strikes it, and he can't get the effect. So, all you really need with Toons is just like one monster, because like you're going to successfully have that direct attack, direct attack, direct attack. And on top of that, your opponent can't get rid of your monsters most of the time. If they're playing like meta, yeah, you can just spin this card back. He goes ahead and summons this, but it's no use to him because he can go ahead and attack directly, and that's 2,000 to the face. And this guy's just like, okay, well, you know what, Galaxy Cyclone, destroy that, and replay goes ahead and ends off right there. I don't know, I think this was to a glitch. There was a few of these replays that had a glitch, but I got the ones that didn't have a glitch. But thanks, AS321 to 322 for sending in these sweet replays. This one's actually a pretty good one, the last one over here, so pretty extensive field on both players. Field all of this Quasar Blackwings, dude. People already net decking the deck, man. But pretty good stuff indeed. To see Toons actually see like play now, like they're like definitely not like tier 0, tier 1, like best deck in the game. But I feel like they're getting a decent amount of support, and I don't know. I just feel like they need more Toon Kingdom cards. Like they need a card. I'm not sure if you guys know about that. There's a Gravekeeper card that says like it just counts as Toon World, or it's a Gravekeeper card that counts as Toon World. Though it's a Gravekeeper card that counts as Necro Valley. And if we could get those for maybe Toons, like I don't know, some along the lines of that, because too many of the cards require Toon World, and like Toon World's kind of bad. Toon Kingdom, great, but you got like if you don't have it, you lose the game. But nonetheless, over here you got that D-Fissure, which is actually a pretty advantageous card against just a lot of decks in general, because it does change game state. Same with the macro, but that disrespect at the very end with the Gaga Cowboy, awesome stuff indeed. But yeah, like he's able to protect himself and stall relatively long because Toon Kingdom is a relatively great card. But anyways, I know a lot of you guys want the deck profile for this. Maybe you guys can test it out yourself. I know a lot of you guys were asking. I saw someone comment and they were asking about when is this card coming out on Dueling Network. I have no idea. I have no affiliation with Dueling Network. I don't have secret insider information. Anyways, let's go and jump right to the deck profile. I think there's a few cards that we can make changes to make the deck a little bit better. Like, for example, I found Deep Prison and Mirror Force, even though Geometry to an extent, just to be not the best choices. I feel like cards like Max C are just more advantageous. Cards like Upstart Goblin, although you can OTK your opponent kind of fast. Not OTK, so to speak, because most of the time you can't attack the same turn that most of the Toons are summoned. But for the most part, I think we can make some suggestions on this deck. So if you guys want to make some suggestions, I would love to hear them. Like I said, personally for me, I'm not a fan of like Mirror Force, Deep Prison, especially in the Pendulum format. I think cards like Bottomless, Solemn Strike, Warning, those are just much better cards. But it'll give you guys a good core to start out with. So first off, we have one copy of Toon Ancient Gear Golem. So all of them pretty much have the condition that they can't attack during the turn of summon, and also if you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, you can attack directly. And then in addition to that, once Toon World goes away, most of the monsters do die when it is destroyed. I'm just going to tell that as a heads up so we don't have to go over that effect every single time on every card. But basically, I'll give you guys like the too long didn't read version of some of the effects. So Toon Ancient Gear Golem. So it can attack, well, all of them are going to have that effect or attack directly, as long as your opponent doesn't control a Toon monster. So it is piercing, and then your opponent can't activate any spell traps until the end of the damage step. Then we have the new card, the Toon Dark Magician. So this one's a little bit new, so it can attack during the turn summon, and then once per turn you can discard a Toon card or Manga Ryu Ran, then activate one of these effects. So you can special summon a Toon monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, except for the same copy of itself. The other effect is that you get to add one Toon Spell Trap card from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good. Then we have the Red Eyes Toon Dragon, which is kind of a new card. Its effect is that once per turn you special summon 2 monsters from your hand, except for Red Eyes, ignoring its summoning conditions. But these are 2 level 7, so hey, access to Big Eye, access to Draco Sack, pretty good stuff. Then we have Toon Dark Magician Girl, she's one of the only ones I believe that can attack during the same turn summon, but it gains attack for each Dark Magician or Magician of Black. Don't worry about it, you're not gonna pull those cards off anyways. I think this guy just kind of played one of each just for like nostalgia, and like to be honest, like these are probably like the better ones. The other ones are too old. The Toon Cyber Dragon's okay, so as long as you control Toon World and attack directly, you can just special summon it. Allows you kind of for, you know, maybe if you want to play like other cards, you can go into rank 5s. I feel like Volcasaurus could be pretty good in this deck. If you want to run like maybe like an instant fusion to have like another target, just so you can go into Volcasaurus, burn your opponent, and Gaia and attack him for game. I think that's like a little cheese build that you can go with. You can definitely make good use of Nord in like every deck, so that could be an option to throw in instant fusion as well. Then we have Toon Gemini Elf, which I think is one of the better ones. Toon Gemini Elf has the effect when it inflicts battle damage, you get to make your opponent go -1. In one of the replays, the guy actually hit out the Red Eyes Darkness Metal out of the guy's hand. Pretty dirty stuff indeed. Now Toon Mermaid, you can just special summon it as long as you control a Toon World, so that it's access to your rank 4s. And then to attack, she has to pay 500. It's just not very good. Just look at her like a special summon level 4. And then we have 2 copies of Necroface. So if you guys watch the duel, they keep on banishing cards, and what you're able to do is then be able to gain a bunch of attack with Necroface. So it gains 100 attack for each of the banished cards. There was a duel we had like 20 plus, right? So at that point, that's another 2,000. So this would be 3,200, and you don't really need your normal summon all the time in Toons, especially since you're able to stall relatively quick in this deck, and especially if you keep on banishing a bunch of cards, at that point you have had to have stalled. So I think that's pretty advantageous to have like maybe 1 or 2 of these. You can also Gold Star for this card, which can be nice. Just to have it like later on. And then we have Toon Mass Sorcerer. So every time this card inflicts battle damage, you get to draw a card. So I really like that effect. He doesn't have very much attack, but if you're attacking directly, who cares? And you're able to draw a card. It really helps out with consistency and setting up your combo pieces or whatever you need now. Or maybe you can add this card. Pretty good. Magic Reflector. So you select a spell, card that remains face up on the field, and you place a counter on it. If the selected card will be destroyed, the counter is removed instead. And then there's 1 copy of Terraforming. I would recommend just 3. Like, you need this card so bad in this deck. Even heck, Duality. Like, you need consistency in this deck. That's one thing that you'll notice when you play this deck. If it doesn't have this, you lose. It's really bad. But yeah, if you want to play multiple copies of Terraforming, it's fine, because you need it so bad to the point where, like, if you don't have it, you will just lose within like 1 or 2 turns. Next up, we have 3 copies of Toon Table. There's 1 Monarch Storm 4th, 1 D-Fissure. I think Macro is also really good. I mean, Macro is slower, but the thing is, Macro changes game state, and it can ruin a lot of... It can ruin more decks. Like, spellbooks become kind of a nightmare sometimes when everything gets banished. Even though I know there's Eternity that lets you like re-add one, but for the most part there are other like spell or trap cards that your opponent needs in the graveyard. So D-Fissure I feel like gets outclassed in one sense to Macro, but it is technically faster. Then we have 2 copies of Magicain, 3 Toon Kingdom, 3 Toon Briefcase, which I think is excellent against Pendulum. You just put everything right back into the deck. And then I feel like these 2 cards, you don't really need them, but I mean, the thing is, if your opponent has like a few monsters that they can't really do anything with, and they like run into your monsters, or they're just trying to get some damage in, if you draw a 3 of them, maybe you can shut them down from potentially making anything else. So there's options for that. Then there's the Mere Force and Deep Prison. I think these 4 cards you can easily swap out. Then there's 2 copies of Toon Mask, 1 Solemn Strike, and then 2 Dark Bribes. I know Dark Bribes, people think it's really bad, but with the amount of Twin Twisters running around, guys, I don't know. I don't even think it's that bad. Because Twin Twister already makes them go -1 anyways, so I mean you can kind of mitigate the minus with it. But nonetheless, I really think this deck it's got a little bit of potential. As far as the extract, we got Infinity, we got the Dvorak, we got Nova, Crazy Box, and then there's 2 number 37s, 1 Dark Rebellion, 1 Key Beetle. Then we have Ragna Zero, 2 copies of Super Quantum Mecha Beast Ouroboros. Then we have Sun Honor Arc. We have Castell, Dweller, and Cowboy. Like I said, I recommend you guys to have Instant Fusion Norden because number 61 Volcasaurus can be really advantageous in this deck because everything can keep on hitting directly. Maybe you can just burn your opponent for game with this. Then Gaia Charger, obviously really good in combination with this card. But anyways, let me know, guys, what you thought of the deck, if you have any suggestions. And do you guys think Toons are going to be meta? Because I feel like they got a little bit of potential. I mean, like, Toon Briefcase is a pretty good card if they can keep on attacking directly. It all comes down to, do we get more support for other cards that count as Toon Kingdom or Toon World, or something along the lines of like search out this card. I know we have searchers already, but if you check out the searching for pendulums, I don't know, I think that was maybe way too good, but we'll have to wait and see. But let me know, guys, your thoughts. And anyways, super hyped for Toons, guys. Let me know if you're super hyped for Toons as well by giving that like button a titty slap. It has been your boy Smith, signing out.